Those who would bear the hopes and future of our people, let the voice of their guns express the words of freedom. Greetings to the people, the Black Liberation Army, the United People's Liberation Army, the Black Guerrilla Family, the Weather Underground, and all freedom fighters of the United Simbionese Federation and the New World Liberation Front. This is Teko speaking. Yolanda, Tanya, and I extend profound feelings of revolutionary love and solidarity to General Field Marshal Cabrillo and all the soldiers of the United People's Liberation Army, to B-Team Commander and all elements of the anti-aircraft forces of the SLA, to Combat Unit Number 4 of the Black Liberation Army, to Comrade Martin Sostra and all other comrade brothers and sisters in America's concentration camps, to our beloved comrades in arms and prisoners of war, Osceola and Bowe, we echo the words you have often left us with. A luta continua, venceremos. We have come together in many different cells, squads, and military political units. We have taken many different meaningful names, but we are not hung up on names, for as comrades in arms, we are one in our struggle for freedom. The determination to eliminate our common enemy by force of arms has united us. To our comrades, sisters, and brothers of the Black Liberation Army and all other fighters, let it be known that the Malcolm X Combat Unit of the Simbionese Liberation Army proudly takes up the banner of the New World Liberation Front. The Malcolm X Combat Unit of the Simbionese Liberation Army left the San Francisco Bay Area in a successful effort to break a massive pig encirclement. It had become clear through intelligence reports from other SLA elements and from the people in the community that the pigs were preparing to trap us on the San Francisco Peninsula. We knew that there was a great risk in setting up a base of operations in San Francisco, which is a natural defile, a trap. The area is very small, surrounded by water, and with limited choices for breaking a major encirclement. However, we accepted this potentially dangerous condition because we saw the importance of making solid contacts in the oppressed communities of the city. We considered ourselves to be an underground unit. However, the majority of our unit's members moved about freely, and in the 5 months we were there, we made many good contacts. We decided to move our base of operations to Southern California, concentrating on the greater Los Angeles area and with its vast oppressed communities and more favorable terrain. In April, the War Council dispatched an intelligence and reconnaissance team to Los Angeles. Its mission, to make some additional contacts and survey the area. Based on the favorable results of this mission and the concentration of pig activity in the San Francisco Bay Area, our unit slipped out of San Francisco and into Los Angeles on May Day, 1974. On Thursday, May 16, 1974, 3 members of the Malcolm X Combat Unit of the SLA were sent out to buy a number of items needed by the unit. At Mel's Sporting Goods store in Inglewood, a pig agent clerk named Tony Shepard, attempting to show his allegiance to his reactionary white bosses, falsely accused me of shoplifting. It was impossible to allow a verifying search by a store security guard because I was armed, and therefore we were forced to fight our way out of the situation. The pigs originally said that a 49-cent pair of socks was stolen, and that this was what caused the shootout at the store. The people found this very difficult to believe when it was pointed out that we had already purchased over $30 worth of heavy-duty wool socks and other items. This apparently became equally confusing to the pigs, who later charged that an ammunition bandolier was the item taken, supposedly to make the accusation more believable. The policy of the Simbionese Liberation Army has always been to avoid shoplifting because of the heavy risk involved to the whole unit. We cannot afford to have soldiers busted on humbug charges. However, we realized that the combat and support elements run a great risk of being jammed whenever we move about above ground. The most unfortunate aspect of this situation was that the pigs then learned that SLA elements were in the Los Angeles area. It appears that even with this knowledge, the pigs would not have located our comrades if a collaborator named Mary Carr had not snitched to the enemy. On Friday, May 17, 1974, a CIA-directed force of FBI agents, Los Angeles City, County, and California State pigs, with air support and reserve assistance from the United States Marine Corps and the National Guard, encircled elements of the Malcolm X combat unit of the Simbionese Liberation Army. The result of the encirclement was that the people witnessed on live television the burning to death of 6 of their most beautiful and courageous freedom fighters by cowardly fascist insects. In most cases, when an urban guerrilla unit is encircled by the enemy, it can expect to take great losses, especially if the enemy has time to mobilize a massive force. Our 6 comrades were not on a suicide mission, as the pigs would have us believe. They were attempting to break a battalion-sized encirclement. By looking at the diagram of where their bodies were found, it is clear that they had split into 2 teams, moved to opposite sides of the rear of the house, and were preparing to move out of the house by force. The heavy automatic weapons fire from the front of the house was a diversionary tactic to force the pigs to concentrate some of their forces in the front. The 2 dynamite-loaded pipe bombs were to be used as fragmentation grenades to clear a path through the cringing pigs who had started the blaze by firing incendiary grenades into the house. Sin, Faiza, Zoya, Cujo, Jelena, and Gabi died of smoke inhalation and burns before they could get outside. The pigs want us to believe that the fire was started by the SLA, that it was caused by SLA Molotov cocktails, or by accident from pig tear gas grenades. This is pig shit. The SWAT squads, FBI, and LAPD would have had to go into the house themselves to clear it out. They showed their true cowardice by using incendiary grenades to cause the fire that killed our comrades. For those who don't know, incendiary grenades burn at such an incredible temperature that they melt steel and armor plate in a matter of seconds and are impossible to extinguish. The pigs want the people to believe that the badass tactics of the SLA guerrillas drove the fascists to use such barbaric force. But we say, the SLA is a reaction to fascism. The SLA uses automatic weapons and homemade bombs because the pigs have automatic weapons, artillery, and hydrogen bombs. Pigs want the people to believe that General Field Marshal Sin Mtume committed suicide. To this absurdity, the SLA responds by quoting our beloved comrade brother. He often said, "We must not fear death, for to fear death is to put our fear of pig terror before our love of the children and the people's struggle for freedom." The pigs have historically focused on eliminating black leaders. Many have been murdered or imprisoned in America's concentration camps. For over a year, the pigs couldn't find Sin to murder him, so they attempted to isolate him from the people with pig propaganda. First, they worked on the most blatantly racist whites with their traditional crazy black nigger escaped convict rapist routine. Next, we learned that Sin was a plum wine alcoholic. This obviously was the white racist liberal answer to the logic that a black revolutionary leader could order and assist in the assassination of a jive-ass pig-agent school superintendent. It followed that the white supremacist and bourgeois black elements of the revolutionary left so-called leadership would be pimped with ridiculous tales of links between the SLA and the CIA. that Sin was and had been a paid informer for the Los Angeles Police Department and the California Attorney General's office. If this were true, we dare these fools and collaborators to explain Sin's reward for his deeds, a life term in California's concentration camps. White, sickeningly liberal, paranoid conspiracy freaks and spaced-out counterculture dope fiends proved their naivete and amateurish research skills as they rambled on and on and on about the California Department of Corrections. Bizarre stories about Sin having been programmed and electrodes implanted in his brain while at Vacaville began to appear in the so-called underground press. Sin Q Mtume. The name means fifth prophet. Sin was indeed a prophet. The pigs would have the people believe that Sin was just, as they would say, another dumb nigger. They continually attempted to undermine his leadership by propagandizing that Sin was being fronted off by whites, that he wasn't smart enough to be the brains behind the planning and execution of the successful SLA actions. To this display of racism we say, go on into the black community and ask the people if Sin Q Mtume was not a prophet. Ask the people if they think he was being used by whites. The people know that a black man in America does not need conscious whites to push him into leading a revolution. Racists cannot believe that middle and upper middle class whites and a daughter of a super fascist ruling class family would ever have reason to follow the lead of a beautiful black genius revolutionary warrior and give their lives for the people. Sick-ass racists would have us believe that white women who follow the lead of black revolutionaries are only mindless cunts enslaved by gigantic black penises. The cringing pigs who face the firepower of Jelena, Gabi, Faiza, and Zoya know much better. Racists believe that it is impossible for white men to denounce white racism and follow the revolutionary leadership of black men. But the SLA proved this theory to be a sick delusion. Sin Q Mtume was himself the spirit of Frederick Douglass, Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Marcus Garvey, the Scottsboro Boys, Medgar Evers, William E. Burghardt Du Bois, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Emmett Till, Little Bobby Hutton, Fred Hampton, L.D. Barkley, Jonathan and George L. Jackson, Mark Essex, and every other black freedom fighter who came before him. To racist slander, the SLA and all the people say, death to the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people. And now, after our comrade brother fought valiantly against a battalion of pigs, a battle witnessed by millions, these same chicken shit pigs are trying to have us believe that General Field Marshal of the Simbionese Liberation Army, Sin Q Mtume, killed himself. Sin was so determined to kill pigs that as long as his heart was beating and that there was any air in his lungs at all, he would fight even if his only weapon was his own body. We all know that revolutionaries do not kill themselves. Revolutionaries kill the enemy. Sin was the baddest member of the SLA, and therefore our leader. Our 5 white comrades who died with him were among his students and had learned well. They too showed incredible determination and courage. Cujo, Jelena, Faiza, Zoya, and Gabi did not commit suicide. The pigs would have us believe. Pigs tell us it is suicidal for whites to join blacks and other oppressed people in making revolution. To this oinking we say, it is suicidal for the ruling class and all its pig agents to believe that they can continue to oppress, exploit, murder, and imprison an undivided revolutionary army of the people. White Americans who follow the example of our beautiful comrades and join the fight for for the freedom of all oppressed people will not do so because they wish to die, but because they wish to be free. The pigs boast that they have broken the back of the Simbionese Liberation Army. But to do this, the pigs would have to break the back of the people. The military, political leader of the SLA and 5 top cadre have been killed by the fascists. However, the SLA is not dead and will not die as long as there is one living fighting member of any oppressed class, race, sex, or group left on the face of this earth. The pig has won a battle, but the war of the flea is not over. As our dear comrade Ho Chi Minh once wrote from an imperialist prison, "Today the locust fights the elephant, but tomorrow the elephant will be disemboweled."